Well, thank you all for coming tonight to the Wireless Forum. I appreciate it. We're going to get started. We've got a lot to cover tonight. First, let's thank our sponsors. Yes. And if you would like to have your company's name up here, let's talk. Okay? It's becoming a bigger piece of what is going. And this is going to be broadcast live. So we have eyeballs from many, many places other than this room watching this. So, and tonight's sponsors, thanks Stone, Resources, as well as Baker Donaldson, IBM, and Windows. They're all here. I appreciate it, and they're a very large piece of what's going on here in the Atlanta, Metro, Georgia area, and you'll hear more about that. So, tonight's session, and I'm going to introduce to you the gentleman that helped us pull this all together, who's on our volunteer staff that puts together these sessions. And if you'd like to join us, we'll cover that later. But Roger, if you'd like to come up and introduce the rest of the team, thank you very much.
As we started putting this together, it kind of showed one of the conundrums as we started to define the types of things we want to look at. So when I first announced that we were going to do a session on civic hacking, and that became the problem. When you start to look at the word hacking, everybody automatically comes up with the, oh, that's malicious, that's, you know, that's bad, that's what people do who want to steal your identity. And then you start to look at the context you put it in. We're actually looking at civic hacking. And actually, how do you take the great things that the cities are doing, all the infrastructure that we're laying in place, all the great things that IBM is putting in, or Oracle, or any of these companies to help create the truly smart cities. Then you start to look at the autonomous car and the evolution of that. Now you start to look at, you know, the city's putting kind of their fingerprint on what they think the city looks like. Civic hacking allows us to take all those resources and put our fingerprint on what the city can look like. How do we want to live in it? How do we want to do things? And what are the things that are most important to us? So when you start to look at civic hacking, it's how do you actually make your society better using the resources that are going to be naturally provided. So that becomes kind of the stepping stone into the conversation we're going to have this evening. So to start us off, I would actually like to introduce Dr. Scott Shamp. If you please come up. Thank you.
Shamp, I direct the Community Institute at the University of Georgia. There are more University of Georgia people in the audience here, right? We're slightly outnumbered by people who come from other places as well. If you were here, you already think that mobile is good, don't you, right? We've all been committed to finding out the way that we can figure out exactly what mobile is good for, and we're all about selling products and making services that really are all good and make good things happen for all of us. But tonight's panel is about how mobile can make us better. How can they do good things for us? How can mobile contribute to social good? So that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be talking about how social or civic hacking in a mobile world can make our communities stronger. How can we leverage the extensive expertise that we've got and the powerful technology to improve our communities with this technology? So we brought together a knowledgeable group of individuals who can share with us their ideas, can point us in directions for us to think about, and can give us new things that we need to think about. The way I'm going to work this is I'm going to introduce each one of our panelists, and then I'm going to ask them to tell us a little bit about what it is they do, and then to take a place here, and then we'll start a discussion where I'll ask the first questions, and then you'll have ample opportunity for you to ask questions as well. So first of all, I want to introduce Laurie Dean Baird. Now, Laurie Dean Baird is the Managing Director at Ladarian Media Group, where she focuses on emerging technology, social practices, and business models in this changing media landscape that we're working on. And she's worked with a ton of media partners like Turner and ESPN and HBO. And she's an executive in residence at the Institute for People and Technology at Georgia Tech. And now she's the Managing Director of Midtown Buzz. And I'm going to ask Laurie to tell us a little bit about exactly what Midtown Buzz is. Now clap for her.
Yes, so we're very excited to be here and looking forward to the conversation. I'm really passionate about urban storytelling, or storytelling in general, media in general, mobile media in particular. And I'm excited to be part of a partnership between Georgia Tech and Midtown Alliance. And many of you have heard about mobile innovation in Atlanta. Well, we believe it's big, it's growing, it's going to be here very soon, and we want to be part of it. So Midtown Buzz is an experiment in mobile innovation. It's a partnership in an urban environment where we're trying to engage communities with universities, with real estate owners, with businesses, and what would you do for a work, live, play experience. So that means what are we going to do about getting tools in place? We're going to have infrastructure, applications, open source data. What can we offer up as a university to the community, or how can we help the community to curate and offer up that back? How can we look at hyper-local experiences? How can we look at things like, social navigation and location-aware technologies. These are all pieces or ingredients of what we want to pull together in Midtown Buzz. We have workshops, we have hackathons, we're working with startups, we're working with big companies, but all to help make Atlanta, and in this case Midtown, a real hotbed for mobile innovation.
Now Scott Henderson has a new title that he talks about now. He is the CAO at his new organization, which is CauseShift, all right? Do you know what CAO stands for? Chief Awesomeness Officer, and he made that term up himself, right? With I have a hard time saying this, hypopotamus? I have a hard time saying it. Say it for me, say it. Hypopotamus with Speak Justice Now, Startup America Partnership, and UN 7 billion actions. He's been working on ways to use mobile and new technology in new ways. Also works with companies like P&G, UNICEF, South by Southwest Interactive, and TLC, the Discovery Network. And now he works at CauseShift, where he made me promise to say that he makes awesomeness happen every day. Is that correct, Scott?
I connected.
Bam.
Thank you very much. I'm the connector of awesomeness. I think Atlanta can be described in 2 words: fragmented awesomeness, and we're just trying to connect awesomeness. That's all it is. So great to be at Wireless Technology Forum. I think you should really own the brand WTF, because WTF, what a strong thing. Come on. CauseShift, the F is silent. There we go. It takes 2 seconds. Good job. And that really does describe what I've done. My career arc has been causing shifts without an F. And I really where I stand at is I stand at the crux of, the crossing of where people want to do good, they just don't know how, and now the technology's caught up with our ability. As a species, our competitive advantage is collaboration, and we've been stuck in silos for so many years, or up on the broadcast towers, and now we have these little devices in our pocket that connect us as little beacons in the valley. And as Scott mentioned, I had the pleasure of working with a lot of great organizations, large global organizations and local organizations, helping create new ways, because the technology allows us to use new methodologies and new approaches. And it was a couple years ago when I helped produce the first social good hackathon for South by Southwest Interactive. We brought the issue of hunger to Austin, Texas, brought world experts, national experts on hunger and how to solve and end hunger, but they had never fully engaged all of the technologists that show up in Austin, Texas for South by, and we spent a full day coming up with ideas. We generated 100 ideas on how you can utilize data, how you utilize mobile technology, and just digital storytelling in a better way to help end hunger itself. So locally, I've had the honor of working with everyone on the panel. Hypopotamus gave me a really good platform to reach out into the startup community, work with corporations, work with nonprofits. If you don't know, coming up in the end of the month is the next National Day of Civic Hacking. I'm wearing the t-shirt today to help promote it. It's a great opportunity to see civic hacking live, and I can't wait to share more about what we're doing elsewhere. Thank you.
I have not known Raj very long, but Raj and I now are on a first-name basis. The reason we are on a first-name basis is there's no way in hell I can pronounce his last name. Go ahead, Raj. Say it for me. What is your last name?
I'm Raj Bandyopadhyay.
Bandyopadhyay. Did I say that right? Bam, baby, that works. He's a principal data scientist at Pindrop Security. Raj analyzes data to protect people and companies from phone fraud. But the main thing is he's the founder and chief organizer of the Data Science Atlanta meetup with 1,400 people. And also he's the co-founder now of Data Science for Social Good, that I know he's going to tell you a little bit about. Raj.
So, Data Science for Social Good is a summer internship program that started in the University of Chicago last year in 2013. What they did there was they got about 40 students through an application process, and the students came from all over the world to Chicago, where they were put together in teams of 3, 4, 5 students. Each team was assigned a mentor, and they were connected with partner organizations. These partner organizations were either city government organizations or nonprofits in the city of Chicago. And over the summer, these students spent about 10 to 12 weeks solving data-related problems for these organizations. Now, these are organizations typically which collect data, but typically do not have the talent or the resources to actually use that data well. So, at the end of the summer, the students presented their results at a bunch of conferences. One of those conferences was a very popular academic data science conference called Knowledge Discovery and Data Mining, or KDT. And I happened to be at the conference. I saw how amazing those student presentations were. And I talked to the organizers, and I was like, well, we have all the ingredients for making something like that happen in Atlanta. We have a university with a very active data science community. We have a city government which is very interested in open data and all of those initiatives. So how did you guys make that happen? So I got a lot of good advice from them, came back, talked to a lot of people, and eventually we ended up collaborating with people from Georgia Tech, actually from people in iPad. Ellen Segura, who's a program director, then Emily Love in the mayor's office in the city, and then several nonprofits and stuff. So right now, as of this week, we launched Data Science for Social Good on Monday with 15 students, who mostly are about half from Georgia Tech, then the remaining are distributed around some local universities like Emory, Georgia State, a couple from North Carolina, and so on. 15 students working on 5 really amazing projects distributed across like public safety, food, transportation, energy, justice. I'm sure we'll hear more about that as the evening goes, but I'm really excited to be here and talk to you more about data science for social good.
All right, and finally you've heard from Roger earlier, but Roger kind of kicked off this idea with us, and since 2001 he's been with AT&T, and that's so long it means you actually had a card that had a singular logo on it, didn't you, right? He works with strategic planning and standards for things like digital home, video services, and now the connected car. Right, so I'll ask Roger to tell us a little bit about what he does.
So I actually work for the AT&T Foundry. And what we're all about is innovation. How quickly can we find something, identify it, and start to work on it? The whole idea is how quickly can we get to market? We don't have the same time frames where you could actually do something over the next 2 years. This is in the next 6 months we have to be out there. So there's actually 3 focuses we deal with, and it comes to why this is so passionate for me. The first one is actually to help AT&T and how do we work, with our own company to move ourselves forward. The second one is how do we work with the community, those companies that would actually like to work for AT&T, the small companies. How do we minimize the pain of working with a company the size of AT&T? And the third part is the one I'm most passionate about, is how do we work with the community as a whole? Whether you're ever going to be a customer of AT&T or not, how do we work with you to actually move the ecosystem forward? All boats rising, because if you guys are doing good, we're going to do well. I have been actually following the connected city, connected car, autonomous car for a very long time. And it's interesting to watch. It's always positioned from the point of the governments or the automakers. What civic hacking allows us to do is put our fingerprint on this. So they're laying this beautiful infrastructure for us. How can we now start and take advantage of it to provide the kind of services that we would like and that everybody else can take advantage of? So that kind of became a passion for us, and apparently I'm an extremely good company for this. Thank you.